I think this song was the first time I coined the phrase, these are one of my mailbox walk songs, because I write these songs these songs come to me often when I'm walking to the mailbox in the morning. I've told many of this story. We can't see the mountains necessarily from our property except this little peekaboo view. But as soon as we come out the gate and down the main road to the mailbox every day, the mountains are there, just glorious in every season, at every time. And I was feeling particularly challenged one day, and I kept getting this phrase, I lift thine eyes, I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes into the hills, from whence comes my help. The biblical quote. So I lift mine eyes as an ancient practice, but I'll talk more about that in a little while. So we're going to sing this song. I'm going to sing the first verse once, and then we're going to sing the first verse again all together, and then we'll move to the second verse. Each verse is the same except for the third line. So once you've got it, you've got it. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into light and out of darkness. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. Let's do that together. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into light and out of darkness. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes out of fear and desperation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into joy and jubilation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes unto the holy hills. I lift mine eyes into love and transformation. I lift mine eyes and now my soul is still. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. I lift mine eyes, I lift mine eyes. You guys sound so beautiful. When I first had come back to start speaking here at Unity regularly, I used to bring my keyboard and I would have pre-recorded music and it was all fancy schmancy. And then we started doing song circles a while ago before we started doing them here. And there was something so beautiful about a cappella voices just singing together. I'm going to get my waters while I'm talking about this. So I started doing that with you, just bringing a song, teaching it to you and singing together. And there's just something so sweet and deeply connective with just our voices together. So thank you for playing with me. So, I lift mine eyes is an ancient practice, and it's also scientifically supported. Neurolinguistic programming teaches us that when we look up, our mood goes up. When we look down, our mood goes down. And we hear that in our languaging. Things are looking up. Oh, I'm feeling really down today. We find it in many of the phrases we have, the quotes we have in our languaging. So it's been around forever. We've known this innately in our beingness. I often walk to the mailbox with my dog most days, and our road is a little bit pitted and sometimes got ruts in it. So I do have to pay attention to what's in front of me and what's down there on the ground so I don't twist an ankle. But the mountains are constantly calling me to look up. And coming back onto my property, I know that our driveway is pretty smooth and that my feet know where to go. And I recognized for a while that I was still just looking at the driveway. But then we've got these trees that call, I forget to look up at the beautiful trees. So this practice of reminding myself to consistently, especially when I'm feeling down, beleaguered, challenged, to look up find some way to cast my eyes up because it changes our brain. It changes the way we feel. So universe is so funny. Spirit is just hilarious. So I picked this talk title from my song. I picked the idea of what happens when we get walloped by life circumstances with an intention to talk about one thing. And so I'm going to talk about that one thing. And then life went, ha ha ha. I said, I need to do a talk about what do you do when everything's going great? So back in November 21st, just before Thanksgiving, you've noticed my shaky hand. We've talked about it before. And it was, as far as I knew, an essential tremor. Well, I've been diagnosed with Parkinson's. So I now have a diagnosis, which seems scary when you first hear it. When the doctor told me, I was like, hold on a minute. Don't tell me anymore. I just need to cry for a second. Because I recognized that I've been holding fear of Parkinson's for 2 years. I was diagnosed 5 years ago with essential tremor. There's not really much to do about essential tremor. It just is. When I heard the diagnosis of Parkinson's, first my brain went, no! And so I said, hold on. And he was very kind and very patient. And I said, okay, continue. And what I recognized was all of a sudden there was space in my chest, which is kind of weird to think about when you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's. But it was the fear that went, oh, well, now we know what this is. And then he proceeded to tell me things to do to have a healthy, long, mobile life. I'm a person that likes to know what it is and what to do about it. A little bit of a control enthusiast. Well, a lot of a control enthusiast. I don't say control freak anymore. I say control enthusiast. So I like to know what it is and what to do. So he said, I'm not going to swamp you with a bunch of stuff today because I know you're still kind of taking this all in. I said, thank you, but tell me some things to do because then I can grab onto those as a lifeline and get to doing because that's good for me. So he said, exercise. I said, weight training? He said, no. Oh, thank you. Weight training's not bad, it's just boring. I just don't like it because it's boring. So he said, ride a stationary bike 15 minutes every day. I have a stationary bike out on my back deck under a cover. I get hot really easy, so being outside, looking at the trees, up, perfect. Dancing, anything that increases dopamine in your body. Guess what increases dopamine? Walking in nature, walking your pet, laughing, hanging out with people you like. There's all these things that increase dopamine. Chocolate. Yeah. Hallelujah. Yeah, if that was on the no-go list, I would have said, forget it. And there's all kinds of wisdom, knowledge, and scientific research, especially in the last 10 years, that has been done on what to do with Parkinson's. It's not the death sentence that it used to be a long time ago. There are ways. The doctor said, my patients that get diagnosed and don't exercise in 5 years, not such a great life. But the patients that do, longer, happier, mobile life. So I'm like, great. I also had been diagnosed as pre-diabetic, right on the edge. And the doctor said, do you want some medicine? I said, no, give me 6 months. I'll get my body moving some more. My diet's not really a problem, but I don't move enough. So now I've got 2 really good reasons to get moving, right? So now I'll sit on the couch and I'll notice my legs start to get what I call jiggly leg. My hand shakes, but my legs will get jiggly. So I get up and I stand behind the couch while I'm watching TV and I'm marching in place and I'm doing cross body movements and I'm doing little hula dances. I lay on the floor in front of the couch and do leg lifts and I just keep my body moving and it calms everything down, which is fascinating to me. It just calms everything down. I'm on medication. I'm also looking at it naturopathic paths. So I'm doing science, naturopath, love, dopamine, walking in nature, doing all those things. I got stuff to do. Great. So I was going to talk about that today. And then Friday, haha, here we are again. My husband came home at about 1 o'clock. We discovered the first month was about a lot of kind of ignoring and denial. Not really denial, but just, I'm not going to look at this. I'm going to deal with this after the holidays. I'm going to deal with this in January. So I was okay. And then got into December, middle of December, meltdown. And then a couple of weeks later, meltdown. And all the fear and all the I'm going to be a burden and all the silly stories that our brain wants to tell us started activating. And I had a friend visiting who's known me for over 40 years and my lovely husband, and they're on either side of me telling me all the things you want to hear when you're freaking out. You're loved, you're supported, you're never a burden, all these lovely things. And what we recognized in many conversations is, I'm a great advocate for you. I'm not a great advocate for me. So talking to doctors and insurance companies and all the hoo-ha we have to go through, I'm not the greatest advocate for myself. I don't remember everything, I forget to write things down, I gloss over stuff. My husband, on the other hand, data-driven, information-driven kind of guy, and of course he's going to advocate for me. So he's now my advocate. I have him make phone calls, I have him ask questions, I have him deal with stuff for me. So Friday he came home, 1 o'clock, we were dealing with it, talking to insurance companies and talking to doctors and doing a bunch of stuff. He went back to work, he came back around 4:30, and something was off. He was off. And he talked about Thursday, he'd started to feel some little numbness and tingly, like when you've had Novocaine and it's wearing off, and you just got that weird little tingly feeling in his lip and a little tingly feeling in his lower lip. And I've had Bell's palsy twice, once on each side. I'm even now. But I said, maybe he's getting Bell's palsy. We'll just keep an eye on things. So the day's progressing. His neck and shoulders are tight. He says, I'll go into the hot tub. I said, great. He starts to go into the hot tub. He's got his robe and a big glass of water, and he kind of crashes into the wall and spills water on the floor, which was weird for him. So he made his way to the hot tub, and I was just about to start dinner, 6 o'clock. I'm going to go check on him. Just go check on him. Something's saying, go check on him. So I got to the hot tub, and he's talking to his sister on the phone, and he's describing symptoms. He's talked to a telenurse, so he's got some support, but he's talking to his sister. His hand is moving weird in the air. I've known this guy 30 years. So his hand is moving weird. His speech, it's like he's had a couple of tequilas on an empty stomach. His speech is a little bit slurry. I said, honey, get out of the hot tub. We're going to the ER. So we did. And we, of course, got in quickly because I walked in and said, I think my husband is having a stroke. And they go, whoosh. It's good to know, exactly. Because if you catch a stroke early, they can give you clot busters, which basically can reverse the effects of a stroke. But if it's been over 24 hours, which this one has been, then they do all the same things they would do in a big rush, but they take it slowly and methodically to go through tests, CT tests, blood tests, etc. So we were in emergency Friday. He spent the night Friday night. He had more tests on Saturday. He was home yesterday afternoon at 3:30. He's got a little left hand weakness, a little left side weakness. His lip is still, we have matching crooked grins now, because that's a little leftover affect from my Bell's palsy. So I thought, well, isn't this interesting? What do we do when we're walloped by life circumstances? I've got Parkinson's, my husband's had a small stroke, and for both of us, it's get moving, wake up, take better care of yourself. He's got blood thinners now, cholesterol meds, we're not going to eat as much meat, we're not going to eat as much red meat. For both of us, it's a good thing because we're now hyper aware of our precious health. Both of us have been pretty healthy most of our lives, pretty facile, pretty active, a little cocky about our well-being. And I don't think that this is some lesson sent down from above to us. It's an opportunity. Yeah, I'm scared. Yeah, I've got feelings. I'm letting myself feel all the feels. The what if this happens feelings and the wake up and pay attention and love yourself feelings. The pay attention to the support that is everywhere around us, pressing us up against us, offering it to us. But we have to be willing to reach out and say, yes, I'm a do-it-myselfer person. I will help you, but I don't let you help me because I'm fine until I'm not. Sound familiar to anybody? Yeah. Can anybody relate to me? Yeah. Okay. So I just find it fascinating that here this floating idea of the concept of our talk today What do we do when life wallops us? The circumstances. We've all, just raise your hand if you've had circumstances that have walloped you. Every single being that I know, one thing or another, we've all had something, if not now, in our past. If not now, probably later. What are we going to do about that? Yeah, there's a part of me that wants to quit, wants to give up, wants to go hide, wants to get into depression, wants to curl up in my bed and not come out, wants to just eat everything and say, screw this.
Yeah.
There's a part of me that wants to do that. And I have to hear that part. I have to allow that part to exist and then at the same time go, yeah, I hear you, it's okay. We're going to do this now. We're going to dance in the living room. Dancing also increases dopamine. We're going to move through this together. Not just my husband and I, not just the people on our property who love us, but with every single person that we know, with every single being that we come across. Can we give each other and ourselves the grace to let us be as we are in the moment, remembering this too shall pass. This feeling will pass, this sadness will pass, this grief will pass. My husband shattered his heel 2 years ago in a paragliding accident. He came down a little hard. He Humpty Dumpty'd his heel after being tetherballed around a tree. Because he made the classic mistake of a paraglider. Oh, I can make that landing. I don't have to land here. I can make it to that landing. He said, you never want to say those words. I can make that. That's not what you say. And he learned that the hard way. So he had surgery 2 years ago. He had pins and rods and metal plates, and then a year ago took those out. And over the past 6 months, 4 months, he's been able to do paragliding again. He's had a couple of short flights over at Fort Flagler. He loves it. It's his passion. And he's thinking, can I do this again? Will I be able to do this again? He's got a motorized paraglider as well as a regular one where you jump off the cliff and catch the air. He has a motorized one, but he's like, yeah, that's not going to happen anymore. It's 60 pounds of weight on a backpack, and you have to be able to kind of run down the runway at the Little Squim Airport. So he's clear, I'm not going to do that. So he's going to sell that equipment. But I said, don't sell your paraglider yet. Let's see what happens with physical therapy, occupational therapy, natural healing. Let's just see what happens. Don't give that up yet. Because I know how much that means to him, how important that is to him, how that feeds his soul, because he's constantly looking up. And I would say that to all of us. When life wallops us, I know a lot of you pretty well. And I've seen life wallop you. And I've seen the amazing grace with which you move through life, where you feel everything. You allow yourself to experience your pain and your sadness and your grief of the loss of who we once were. We're all older in this room. We've all experienced that grief. My husband used to keep saying, gosh, I used to be able to do that. I said, honey, you're 60, he's 68 now, 69 now. Oh, he's 69. Oh, he's going to be 69 in March. He's almost 69. But I said, that was when you were 20. It feels like yesterday, but it really wasn't. I remember when I could. Well, that's lovely. We're here now, in this body, in this time, with whatever's going on with us. I said, well, my right side's impinged, my left leg's a little wonky, my right hand's a little wonky, your left side's impinged. We could do, like, sack races really great. We both got one good side between us. So, and he can walk around the house just fine as long as he uses a cane, get most of his weight on his right side to remind himself to slow down. That's the other little gift. He rushes through things. This is slowing him down a little, making him really become aware of his surroundings, of people, of, again, what's available to me to support me. So take a deep breath. Just think about your own life. We've had physical challenges, we've had emotional challenges, we've had mental challenges. I'm sure all of us at one time or another. That's something that's come along that wants to strip us of our identity, that wants to take away the who I am. And there is a place in us where who we are is who we've always been since before we were born. This powerful spiritual presence of the who we are is the I am presence. I am that I am. It has been with us before we came here. It will be with us when we go, because we are it. We are expressions of it. We are embodiments of it in our frail human bodies. I had one of our spiritual gatherings last Tuesday, and I usually have a topic that floats into my consciousness. I put that on the table, and then we talk about it. And guess what it was? Fragility. And I thought, well, that's an interesting word to have float up. Fragility. Because fragility can mean kind of tenuous and easily breakable, but also fragility is beautiful. Think of the glass sculptures you see, and the shells on the beach, and the flowers that are so fragile. They're here and full of life and blooming one day, and then the next falling apart, going back into the earth. They're fragile, and they're beautiful, like us. We're fragile because we're human, and we're strong because we are spirit. We are both. I want to figure out a mush word, human spirit, but none of them are going to sound good. So what do? Well, I turn to laughter. I have a group of friends that I've known forever, and we meet almost every Sunday on Zoom. And I told them what was going on pre-stroke, and we're going to talk about the stroke today. But I was talking about Parkinson's, and so somebody said, well, you look really shaken up, and everybody kind of laughed and gasped at the same time. And I said, oh no, keep them coming. Keep all the jokes coming, because that's how I get through. Maybe not everybody. Will was making, funny face, smiley jokes. And this morning he said, I'll give you a golf joke. Stroke. And I said, not funny. So sometimes it's good, and sometimes I say, not now. Not now. But that's how I get through. It may not be how you get through, but that's how I get through. I know somebody who dances through. I know somebody who writes it through. I know somebody who yells it through. Whatever works for you, in your uniqueness, in your particularities, in your way of being. Feel the feels, ask for and accept support. Even if you don't know what it is, that's the challenge with support. How can I support you? I don't know. Well, let's have a conversation. Instead of stopping there, let's have a conversation about that. May I share what we talked about the other day? Thanks. So Terry Ann is a good friend of mine. And on the front of our property, we have a little free pantry. And I go to Dollar Tree and I load up 2 shopping carts about once a month. And I fill it up with canned goods and milk in cartons and things that'll stay okay in a free pantry. And I keep that thing stocked. And lately it's been getting swept out regularly, which is good. Part of me is like, don't take everything. And part of me is like, somebody's eating this. That's all I really care about. And I have to move the cases of canned goods from the shelf into the cart, out of the cart, into the register, off the register, into my cart, out of the cart, into my car, and my car, into the house. It's a lot of lifting because there's a lot of cartons of stuff. So Terry Ann lovingly said, what can I do? How can I support you? And I was like, oh, I'll think about that. And then it came to me. Terry Ann likes to go to Dollar Tree too. Let's go to Dollar Tree together, and you can help me load up the cart and load up my car and follow me to my house and help me unload it in my house. And now I'm not trying to do it all by myself, because that's what I've done in the past. I might occasionally ask somebody to help me unload it from the car into the garage, but not often. So this is for me an opportunity to say, yes, you can support me. Let's discover how it works for you and I. What can I receive? And what can you give that works for you? Because not everything works for everybody. Yeah, God supports us all the time through people. Because we are the hands, we are the heart. We'll sing a song about that later. So take another deep breath. And just close your eyes. I'm going to take a drink of water. Just sink into that center place within you. That place of wholeness. I love the perfection of the word of the day, wholeness. There's a place within each of us that is always whole. There's a place within each of us that is the seed of the divine within, that we can always tap into, and we often forget. When in the midst of a challenging circumstance, our humanness takes over, and we forget to remember that we are spirit. So let's remember that we are spirit in form, made up of the same atoms and particles as the stars and planets and trees and the bears and the mountains. Those same particles that spirit chose to coalesce as a you and a me, instead of another planet or another star or another bear. It specifically created you and me to be who and as we are. I don't know why. I don't know why your life is the way it is. I don't know why my life is the way it is. I just know that we are, and we belong because we exist. Because we are spirit in form. We are the hands of spirit and the heart of spirit and the eyes that can look at another with love. So feel that space wherever it is within you. See if you can dive into it. And remember that I am that I am. I am as I am. Right in this moment. Regardless of what my emotions are, or the stories my brain wants to tell, for good or for ill, I am as I am. Let's say that together. I am as I am. I like I am that I am, but I am as I am brings me solace, because however I am right now is the I am presence. Take a breath on that. Come back into the room. And I would invite this time for comments or questions, thoughts or ideas. Yes.
I am what I liked, and I liked what I am. I'm not by to say.
I am what I am. Yes, I love that. See,
I was going to use that one.
See, great minds think alike. Anything else?
It's one of my mottos.
It's a great motto, because funny things help us remember truth. Often. What else?
I like what you said about how accepting change, the change in looking back on how things used to be, and it's really it's unavoidable.
Yeah. We kind of have no choice. We're either going to be here for a long time or we're not.
So there's a little brain teaser that says things were a lot more like they used to be than they are now.
I'm glad they didn't ask my husband that in the hospital. They asked, one of the doctors said, is Mickey Mouse a dog or a cat? And he went, neither. Good answer. But I thought, that's a great question. That's a brain teaser. It's like, woo, that's a thinker. For just a half a second, he was like, whatever.
Acronyms play around in my brain, and the one that just showed up for whole is welcoming, heart-opening, living energy.
Or life experiences is what popped into my head. Yeah. Welcoming, heart-opening life experiences.
I have had a very, very rough life, but I'm I'm here today because I've always been positive, always been knowing that God and Jesus are right with me, and I'm here for a reason. I've had 4 times in my life I could have died. The first time was a week, second time was a month, third time I had the worst cancer, breast cancer you could get. They didn't know whether I was gonna make it or not. I had to have surgery.
Wow.
And the fourth time, I had 2 days to live.
Wow. And you just went, ha ha, I'll show you.
I went to the hospital on Friday, and the doctor told me if I hadn't been on Friday and got started getting treatment, I would have been dead by Sunday.
Wow.
But I told him, I said, I said, no, God and Jesus been with me all these years. I've been very positive about my life. I've never been negative about it.
That's awesome.
And I've tried to always be happy.
That's awesome. I was talking to my brother and sister-in-law last night, and my sister-in-law said something about you're so positive about it. You seem so upbeat about all this. And I said, and my brother said, well, you can be that, or what's the alternative? The alternative is no fun. It's no fun. I mean, we can dance around there for a little bit. You know, like I've said, I went into the woe is me. I went into the it's terrible, ain't it awful, it's not fair. Why, God, why me? You know, all the things we do. But I don't want to stay there. And for me, dancing, moving, laughing, loving, those are powerful. And when in doubt, blow bubbles. Come on, baby.
Come on, baby.
You can do it. They're trying to come. Come on, there it goes. Blow bubbles. When in doubt, blow bubbles. And then you can also play music. I discovered this little magical thing because I was in the panto, the play up at the college over the holidays, and I was the fairy godmother. And the whole show was called Ethel Mermaid, and it was a spoof of Little Mermaid, so it was set under the sea. Only my character is not a fish character, it's just the fairy godmother. So I said, how do I breathe underwater? I need a bubble wand, because first of all, I need a wand. I said, I need a bubble wand. I wonder if there's such a thing. Amazon. I went on to Amazon and I looked up bubble wands, and there's a whole bunch of them. A lot of them look like this. I said, yeah, this is a kids-friendly show. And then I found this. And they have it in turquoise and pink, and I got both of them. And I had this giant tutu and turquoise leggings, and my bonus son loaned me yellow plastic high top Converse tennis shoes. I said plastic because I'm underwater. They're perfect. And then I had turquoise and yellow top, and then I had this crazy foam wig. I posted pictures on Facebook. I have this crazy foam wig that looks like Betty Rubble with a starfish right there. And I figured she's been around a long time. She's so old she couldn't remember her name. So I made that a thing, and I kind of had her be like B. Arthur. So I'm walking through the audience with my bubbles going, hello, how are you? I'm the fairy godmother. It's so nice to see you. And I'd go, oh God, stairs. And I'd have to walk up the stairs because I'm really old. But this thing is going to stay with me, not put in the prop box, in my house handy, so that when in doubt, make bubbles. It made me feel like I was 3. It was awesome. I had more fun with that darn bubble maker than anything else. Well, I had a lot of fun with the show, but the bubble maker was the piece de resistance.